Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. If you are new, then you most likely clicked on this video because you need help finding your aesthetic. You are here because you are an individualiste. Or you want to become one because you're tired of seeing the same videos on YouTube trying to fit you into the same tired cliches. The cliches of the baddie, the art hoe, the dark academia scholar, whatever. You're here because you know there's something unique about you, but you aren't quite sure how to uncover that or how to create that into an aesthetic or a persona. And I'm here to help you. I have a few more videos on this topic that give you an outline on how to start conceptualizing yourself through the use of an in-depth questionnaire and what inhibits your creation of a unique aesthetic, like what you're doing wrong. In this video, I'm going to try and help you find your aesthetic by giving you examples of people who have fully realized theirs. I will share 3 Instagrams today that I hold in very high regard for their aesthetic expression, and I'm going to be using them as case studies. We're going to be going through them. I'll discuss each one briefly. I'm gonna be looking at their feeds on my phone and I'm gonna show it on the screen here. And I'm going to describe what I see and explain what they're doing right, what ideas are being communicated through their aesthetic, and how they achieve such a strong presence. So without further ado, the first one we're going to look at, the Instagram is Nominalia, which I'm pretty sure is a play off of Anomaly. So she is an artist, a makeup artist, a jewelry designer, artist. Honestly, she has multiple mediums, and right now she's working on a number of projects, one of them being a book of cocktail recipes, which is just lovely. So as we're looking through her feed here, she reminds me of something Giorgio Armani said when they were asking him like why he designs and what he designs. And he says that all of his collections are all the colors of the sky. They represent all of the different shades of the sky at different times of day. And this definitely that quote reminds me of her a lot. I'm gonna just describe what I see as of right now. You can tell that she very much exists in the world, but isn't of it. I kind of have said that phrase before. She's very much an ethereal person. She's a great example of that word. She's definitely like a mixture of like nebulas and novas, but also like kitschy porcelain mantle decorations and like paper dollies. She's definitely like 4-dimensional, but then at the same time, she's like as flat as street signs and like all their luminescent glory. She's very hyper real, very vivid, a lot of colors. She has a makeup palette out that kind of acts as watercolors, and it's all the colors of the rainbow, so you can kind of mix and make beautiful designs. But she came out with that a few years ago, I want to say. She kind of resonates at the same frequency as kind of like an artificial representation of something, like a red heart in place of an anatomical one, or like a metallic gold star on your homework that you got as a kid in place of a real star. Do you know what I mean? That kind of translation. But she also exists on the other side too. She's hyper real, and she kind of exists in this envelope between hyper reality and kind of this misleading representation of reality. She's very much in between, and she fluctuates. But as you can already tell, she has a very, very unique aesthetic, very much unique to her artwork. Also, like legitimate artwork. She has an entire Paper Bright book that she did that is all of her drawings are very much representative of what you see on her feed too. She lives and breathes her art. She is her art. She is her own muse, you can see. And all I can really just think about is just how hyper vivid she is. She's not trying to abide by any rules. She's trying to kind of go back to this time where creativity and freedom was something that you encountered every day, like as a child, that kind of the freedom of being a child. And at the same time, she also reminds me of just crystals that hang in the sunlight, and you can see all these beautiful refractions coming out of them, just every color of the rainbow. She's like that very much. If I could sum her up into one object, it would probably be one of those, a crystal in sunlight. Beautiful. She's A++ for me. And at the end of this video, I'm gonna talk about why all 3 of the Instagrams that I'm sharing right now work and why they're so successful. The second one is Indiana 420 bitch. So this Instagram I found through King Kong magazine. This person is a photographer, and he actually shoots for I Am Gia. So you've probably seen his work before if you're familiar with that brand. And all I can see throughout this, if you're looking through the feed, is just, it's concrete. We have slasher films. We have like Bride of Frankenstein, if she had like a stripper pole in her living room. It's very much like Y2K, but like Dior Y2K mixed with like medical marijuana and like that Red Balls store from the movie 13. Do you guys remember that? There's a lot of skin being shown. I'm talking mostly about his photography, which is obviously his passion, and his aesthetic is showing through his artwork. What I love about him is that he uses liquify in his photography a lot. And if you don't know what a liquify is, it's an augmentation tool in Photoshop. It's in other programs now, but it's something that a lot of influencers use, this tool, to make their bodies look a certain way. You know, a little pinch in the waist and a little blowout in the butt. And it's basically like plastic surgery, but with pixels. And he uses this tool, he uses it as like a poetic tool in a way. And that's what I love. First of all, on my channel, Indiana 420 bitch is a trash chic king. I love that extremism that he has. Like, he's all about the beauty of like botched surgeries and like pink terry cloth tube dresses and fake gold and body glitter and giant eyelashes that are way too big for your eye shape. He's the kind of guy that would never pass up dancing to Dirty by Xtina. He's that kind of guy. Trashy chic. Deadbeat daddy. Imagine Cinderella, but instead of a palace and a glass shoe, it's a gas station and a Four Loko left on like the stoop with pink lipstick on the pull tab. He takes the baddie to like a whole other level. Like he like makes it into hyperbole, like into myth. Like it's the idea of a baddie. And then he mixes it with like fake blood and like skulls and stuff like that. And horror movies, lots of slasher films. And I think I already said that, but yeah. Oh, Bride of Frankenstein is actually all the way at the bottom here. Next on the list is Stacy Nashimoto. She's the owner of The Corner Store, the vintage shop, and her eponymous label, Stacy Nashimoto, which is all handmade by an atelier in Los Angeles. I personally have some stuff from her. I'm very proud of that. Her Instagram, which she has dubbed herself, her aesthetic is storybook style. You know, those books where young girls are dressed in white, long, modest linen dresses and shiny black shoes, and they're carrying around wildflowers and they're talking to a personified rabbit. That kind of storybook. You know, pale blue skies and Victorian lawn furniture. But then she brings in this kind of unexpected twist, like fetish wear and girls with like exposed torsos and tattoos and sweatshirts. It's just created a world all her own. It's so delicate, and there's kind of like threads of Christianity and Catholicism, I would say. I believe she's incredibly religious. I don't know what her specific sect of faith is, but her bio says anointed in it. When you look at her feed and you look at her aesthetic, it's very much this, it's bold and delicate. There's a kind of tenderness about it. When you look at the models and of course, the Instagram is a lot of it is promotion of her label and also her thrift shop. But there's just this subtlety that can only come with just age and seeing so much beauty in your life that you just know how to refine it just the right amount. But I've been following Stacy for a long time now, and her label for even longer. There's just this breathlessness about her work, about her aesthetic, and just the mixture of almost like masculine presences in a very delicate aesthetic. It's just beautiful. And then of course that religious intervention, which honestly, if you were like add religion to anything, it makes it that much more beautiful. I always think that adding religious undertones to something makes it more beautiful. I think we're just kind of hardwired to think those things are beautiful and interesting. So what do all of these people have in common? They're all incredibly consistent. Consistency is really, really important. There needs to be a common thread among all of the things that inspire you. And they can't be directly noticeable either. You learn this whenever you go into any kind of art school. You understand that eventually, as you're nearing towards the end of your education, you realize that you need to, or you're taught that there needs to be an atmosphere created. Even if there are multiple points of reference, there needs to be an atmosphere, a smell in the air that links everything together, even if they have nothing to do with one another. Another reason why all three of these are excellent case studies for good aesthetic is because they're difficult to describe. I've been describing things for a long time. I'm just naturally good at pairing things together, being able to describe what I see. But in general, it took me a while. I had to write down notes. I had to try and sit there and wonder and pick out the right word and the right metaphor and the right reference, because good aesthetics cannot be easily pinned down. There needs to be complexity. That's why uniqueness is so important, and that's why other aesthetics, the cliche ones, fall flat so frequently, because they are so easily guessed. It's like a bad movie. You know what the ending is going to be. You don't want that. You don't want people to guess you and get it right, ever. You need to be unpredictable. People need to unpack you and figure you out. Another reason why all of these are so good is because there's obviously a story behind them. There's a story behind every single one of these people, whether it's their own story, whether it's their own world, or one that they created. Oftentimes, it's a little bit of both, because life isn't satisfying enough. There's a degree of fantasy, of exploration, of childish wonder. Most people are afraid to show others who they are. They're afraid to experiment. They're afraid to delve into themselves. It's easier to become a clone of another person than to actually be who you are, because that takes time. It takes getting to know yourself. It takes being alone. And it takes getting references from multiple different places to accumulate into you. Kurt Cobain said it before, that nobody is completely original. Everybody is a portion of the people that they are surrounding themselves with, or in this case, I would say the things that you're fascinated with, the books that you read, the art that you like, and you are patchwork of all of those things, and it becomes you, something unique to you. There's no such thing as originality. Everyone has somebody that they look up to or have even copied at some point. But it's your job as a unique person, as an individualist, to pursue your truth through the people that fascinate you, through the ideas that fascinate you, even if they are not your own. There are so many other reasons why these people are so successful at their aesthetic, but I think at the end of the day, it's really just sitting down with yourself, creating a kind of manifesto for yourself, what you represent, what inspires you, what motivates you, what makes you get up in the morning, what moves you. Anyway, I hope you guys liked this video. I hope you guys enjoyed these these Instagrams. I sure did. There's many other Instagrams that I would have suggested, of course, but I didn't want to make this video too long. Make sure to like and subscribe, tell your friends, and I will see you guys next week.